So today we're going to be doing a first impression and a review of, like, where is it? I had it in front of me like a minute ago and it's fecked right off. Okay, so I found it. It was just hanging out, doing its own thing on my makeup table. But this is the new Maybelline Superstay multi-function makeup stick. So I'm assuming that this is the stick version of their liquid Superstay foundation, which, by the way, I actually really like this. I think for a high coverage foundation, it's remarkably complimentary and flattering on more mature skin. So I am feeling very optimistic about the stick version. There are 16 shades of this, which admittedly it's not fantastic, but I think it's definitely a step forward for Maybelline, whose shade ranges used to be abysmal. So I do feel like they're definitely moving in the right direction, so we have to kind of give them that, but it could be better, a lot better. This foundation cost $8.99 and I got it from Boots. So it just claims that it's a multi-use foundation stick. You could use it as a concealer, as contour, as highlight, and of course as foundation. You could probably use it to hit your boyfriend around the head if he's not doing what you want him to do. I don't condone violence. I'm a pacifist, but if you just, I don't know, just having a day and your boyfriend's pissing you off, just poke him with it. I mean, I don't know. But so it claims to be a cream to matte finish, and it has a pointed blender sponge for easy and quick application at home or out on town. Who's applying their foundation out on the town? I don't know why you would, but this is the little spongy bit just at the end. I'm going to try and use it today just for the lols, but I know that's probably not going to work. Watch it, it'll be great now, and I'll just have to eat my words, but I don't have a lot of confidence in this, like literally. It just says, whether you're looking for a cream foundation or a contour foundation. What the feck is a contour foundation? Our first all-in-one foundation stick features a cream to matte. I just feel like I'm repeating myself now, but they've written this twice. I mean, really, guys. So in a nutshell, it just claims to be a multi-function product. You could use it, you know, as a foundation, contour, all the things that I mentioned previously. It has a cream to matte formula, and then they're just, you know, bragging to hell about this fecking pointy tip, which we all know is going to be inadequate. And we're all thinking, why couldn't we have used that extra space for more of the foundation, which is what we want? We don't need this, dude. But I'm going to try it. We'll see. I say I'm going to remain open-minded. My mind is closed. You know that. I know that. It's closed. As with all of my foundation reviews, I don't believe in like just doing a first impression, coming back at the end of the day and saying, okay, this is what I think. I'm not shading anyone that does that, but for me, I feel like, especially with foundations, you really have to properly test them out to really see how good they are, because I like to test it out at work, I like to test it out at the gym. I don't go to the gym. I don't go to the gym, guys, but I like to test it out at Tesco. I like to test it out in my bedroom just when I'm just fecking around doing nothing. Just testing it out is the most important thing. So I will be coming back at the end of the video and giving you like my final thoughts. In my experience, I've not been a massive fan of stick foundations. I've tried a bunch of them. Probably the favourite one that I've tried is the L'Oreal Infallible Stick Foundation. I didn't like the Makeup Revolution one. I thought it was just like drying and did not make my skin look sensational, so I didn't like it. Oh, what? That is a ridiculous amount of product. Like, this is, okay, so, like, I've used my L'Oreal one a lot. And the L'Oreal one, I don't know if I'm just imagining it, but it looks to be a little bit wider. But, oh my gosh, the amount of products you get is absolutely abysmal. Like, how much do you actually get in this? 7.5 grams. And the standard is 30 grams. So I feel like that's a bit shit, like, really. I got the shade classic nude. I got classic nude. Honeys was getting very frustrated with me in the store trying it out, so this is classic nude. It looks kind of pink undertone, but I'd say quite neutral at the same time. feels extremely like creamy on my hand, so she's very excited. So I'm just going to apply a little bit over to this side. You may call it my more troublesome side, and we're just going to see. So oh yeah, oh, it's so satisfying using a stick foundation just to bang it on. I never know how much to put on though, but I think that's a fair amount to begin with. So, I mean, am I meant to wet this? Or, I mean, they said to use on the go, so I'm imagining you don't wet it. So, should we just do this? Oh, do you know what? Not bad. Oh my gosh. Not bad. Like, there was no mention as to what kind of coverage you could expect with this foundation, but I'm guessing, like, it would just be quite buildable anyway. So, you know, you could probably build it up quite well, but like, I don't know if it's the sponge, but like, I don't want to just like victimize the sponge here, which I've done enough already, but I do feel like the coverage is not, it's just not, there's barely any coverage whatsoever. Like, and I know I do have quite a lot going on this side of my face, but I just feel like I've barely got any coverage. But I'm just going to go with it because I can always apply more, which, you know, is amazing. This sponge, I mean, it's not terrible, and I could see that, you know, if you were in like a dire situation and, you know, you just totally forgot to put your makeup on in the morning, then this could, it would do, like it would do, but only in a crisis, you know. So I mean it's covered up a little bit, but not as much as I would like. I feel like it blended out beautifully, like especially with this shitty ass little fecking sponge. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm victimizing the sponge again, but I'm just, I don't know, I'm not about the sponge, you know. It's not a true matte right now. You could definitely see a little bit of shine going on. I think the shade is perfect for me, so I just feel like giving myself a pat on the vagina just for saying, well done, Anwen. You managed to find the right shade when the boys were just causing chaos. And you had honeys like breathing down your neck, like, what the fuck are you doing? Let's fucking get out of here, Anwen. Or I'm going to just, I was going to say he's going to divorce me, but we're not married, so that would be a bit tough to do, honeys. I mean, really, honeys. But anyway, so, yeah. So far, not very impressed with the coverage. Kind of feels nice on my face, but I just want a bit more, you know, in the way of coverage. I feel like I applied quite a generous amount, but it's given me like the lightest of the light coverage, so I am going to go in again and just like build this up a little bit. Also, just to mention, I do have oily skin. I am 34, I mean really guys, 34, so I do have like fine lines, pores. I'm just like saving up to get Botox at the moment. It's not going well because I keep buying more makeup. Okay, so I've applied feck loads, I feel like. So I'm going to just go in with my Juno sponge now because I feel like the sympathy train is over. I gave that fecking sponge a go and it failed to impress me. So I'm going in with my Juno and we're going to just see if we can build this up. Sick just came into my mouth. Oh my gosh. Anyway, okay, let's get back to work, Anwen, like the professional that you are. Okay. Okay, so I've completed one side of my face. Definitely got a much better coverage now. I did have to apply quite a lot. I definitely feel like you would go through this product super, super quickly if you wanted anything other than a very light coverage. Because like, for example, with my L'Oreal stick foundation, I applied like half of the amount that I've had to apply with this to get this kind of coverage. I wouldn't say that this is like a true matte just at this point because it does have quite a lot of shine to it, which I'm actually quite liking. I feel like, you know, like flat matte foundations are sometimes not the most like flattering for your skin, you know. As I was blending this out, I did notice that it does like dry quite quickly, so you do have to like apply and blend. You can't just like be, you know, giving yourself like a tiger face and just like, you know, leaving it for a bit. You have to just like work quite quickly with it. But when you work quickly with it, it blends out so easily. It's so creamy. And yeah, I had no issues kind of blending it. Just noticing now as well that my pores do look quite there, like, and I'm not really liking that. Can you see, like, it's kind of just like really sat in my pores, and you can actually see pores on my cheek, which you can't normally see. And I do feel like it looks quite heavy here just on my chin, so I'm kind of not loving that actually. But I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna do the other side of my face, and then I'll be back and we can kind of check out what it looks like. So I have done my entire face. You may have noticed that as I was like applying, you know, around my nose, I kind of turned the sponge and just used a bit that didn't have so much of the product on it, just to try and, you know, stop so much of a like build up of foundation just at the edges. I don't really think like it worked much if you kind of compare this side. Well, actually, I think it did. I think this side looks kind of more cakey, whereas, you know, the side where I tried not to put as much foundation on there, I think definitely, you know, my pores look a lot better. I actually love the finish of this. I think from back here, it just looks so good. It's definitely, like, not matte, in my opinion. This is more of, like, I'd even say, like a radiant, kind of glowy finish. Just, like, up close. When you really kind of look at the foundation, it does look a little bit heavy, like just here, which is always like a problem area for me. I used to suffer from spots on my chin, and I do feel like I've got quite a bit of texture there. I feel like I applied more of the foundation over on this side, and then I kind of applied a bit less over here, and I do feel like the more you apply, the more cakey it's going to look, which is probably like to be expected anyway. But it's just worth pointing out that if you do have quite textured skin, it probably is worth going like applying less and building it up, as opposed to just putting like loads on, because then you will probably be taking a one-way trip into Cake Town and let everybody look at all the texture on my skin town. I think the shade is great, which I'm kind of loving, but I'm a little, oh actually is it great? Oh no. Do you know what? It's strange for me because in the camera everything looks a bit lighter than what it does when I look in my mirror of truth. And in the mirror of truth I'm looking quite orange right now, like literally orange. I don't know, like I feel like this foundation does oxidize quite a bit because it was kind of looking a lot better before, but that's fine. I'm just going to blend it down my neck all the way to my vagina just so it matches. I mean, really. Hello there, so I'm back. I've worn the foundation over 3 days now, and I definitely feel kind of well versed in the foundation. Unfortunately for me, this is not a foundation that I would really kind of want to recommend, and B, a foundation that I won't be reaching for this foundation again because I didn't like it. I think that when I kind of first tried it on, I really liked the finish of it, you know, from like back here, and even like today, I like the finish of it back here. But when you get up close, you just see all kinds of flaws. I don't think I've actually been touching my face that much, but as you can see, it's kind of completely come away. You know, just at the sides of my face. It also looks quite patchy. I have tried a couple of different like primers with this foundation. So today I have put the Superfruit Extract primer on by Makeup Revolution. I used the Nivea Express primer on the first impression. And then yesterday I wore my Laura Mercier Radiance Primer, so I have kind of messed about with it a little bit. For me, less is definitely more with this foundation. When I apply too much, it definitely looks extremely cakey. You obviously get the benefit of having a higher coverage, but for me, like, I'd rather have a lower coverage and not a cakey face than high coverage but a cakey face, you know, if that makes sense. So in that respect, I would say it's not very buildable, because I believe that for a foundation to be buildable, like any foundation can be buildable, you know, you can build up any foundation, but it's whether it's effectively buildable. Like, I hope this makes sense, but for me, an effective buildable foundation is one that you can build up and it doesn't descend into cakey town. Do you know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. But you saw in the first impression how cakey this foundation looked around the pores in my nose and also on my chin. So today I made a concerted effort just to apply less. And I also made an effort not to really apply that much around like this area and then on my chin. But as you can see, that's kind of just made it look super, super patchy. Look, can you see here? It's come away. It just is not doing me like any favors right now, this foundation. What I'm trying to say is you could definitely get a medium to full coverage with this foundation, but I feel like it's going to look quite cakey. As we know, foundations are very subjective, so I can only like tell you my thoughts based on my experience. I know that many people are probably going to love the foundation, but for me, being a 34-year-old with oily skin, with texture on my face, anything but perfect skin, it does not do me any favors. And that's why I won't be reaching for this, because it just looks absolutely abysmal. And yesterday I wore this to the office, and quite frankly, I was embarrassed. I was really embarrassed because everyone knows that I love makeup in my office. And like, for me to walk around with like a patchy foundation that just looks shit, it's embarrassing, because I feel like, oh my gosh, people are going to be thinking, what is going on with Anwen? Like, what is she going crazy? Like, literally, it's just not. And it oxidizes like a bad boy. I find that it gets oily and shiny really, really quickly, no matter how much you set it. If you use a powder, if you use Fix Plus on top of the powder to double up if you bake, it will still be shiny. I definitely prefer the liquid version a million times more. This is a foundation that I use a lot. I will not be using the stick foundation again. I mean, maybe if I'm just doing like a quick video and I just want to apply something quickly, it probably wouldn't look too bad, but it's not one that I would be reaching for a full day in the office or even a day working at home, because it's just pissing me off right now how patchy it is. So anyway, guys, that brings me to the end of this review. I hope it was somewhat helpful to you if you were thinking of buying this foundation. I would definitely advise you to watch other people's reviews, particularly people that maybe have different skin types to me. So like people that have dry skin, normal skin. Who has normal skin? I don't know, but I'm sure there's some people out there. Or people with younger skin, more youthful skin. Just go and check out a variety of different people's videos. I think $8.99 is a super affordable price for the foundation, but unfortunately for me, it's a fail, an epic fail. I don't like it. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.